beautiful Wednesday and we are super excited. Why? Yo, I just ordered the wrong water. Like, who actually drinks water with gas? It's a beautiful Wednesday and we're super excited for CPI. In my previous video, I was showing you guys how to actually trade CPI. I normally don't like to go in for the spikes. I want to wait for the spike and then, trade the overall direction. Or I want to already be in my trade and then, just chill and watch CPI. So right now we're going to do a little quick analysis and see what we're going to have for CPI. But before we do all of that good stuff, if you are new to the channel, welcome. We trade the Nasdaq over here. If you're returning, welcome back. You already know what's up. Don't forget to hit the like button, turn your post notification, and subscribe to the channel. You feel me? So right over here, let's just dive right onto these charts because we have CPI in a few hours. We're gonna start off by marking out our lines right over here. You can see that we want to mark out all of our zones. Whenever you're analyzing, the zones are the most important. If you don't have your zones marked out, then you're not even going to be able to trade, right? You don't have a bias. So I am biased to buys because we are on an uptrend, and my weekly analysis does say that. I actually showed you how we had a 200 moving average rejection on the daily time frame, right? So my zones are marked up over here like this. I'm gonna say that the market will play around in this zone for CPI and then eventually move up. So that's what I guess, right? So I wanted to play around in this zone, whether it spikes up or down, but so long it's within this zone, I am going to be looking for buying positions, right? So it can come to this zone and then go up, or it can come to this zone and then still go up. If it then just pushes down to the bottom like that, then we're already no longer in the buys. I'll have to be careful and exit that trade right over there. Yes sir, so that is my bias right now. I have my zones marked up and I'm going to wait for CPI. This time around, I'm actually going to wait for the spike to actually happen and then I'll go into the trades because I don't want them to run in loss and then I then jump in or whatever, right? I'm going to wait for the spike like I always say, and then after the spike happens, if it spikes up to the top, it's going to break the level and I'm going to go in. If it spikes up to the bottom, it's going to give me a really good stop loss and I'm still going for the buys, but I'm just going to buy Nasdaq because of the weekly analysis. You already know what we're talking about, right? So right now let's just close this and change this water. I need to change this water, man. What is this? Beautiful traders, the spike has just happened. It actually spikes down for CPI and right now we've just gone into our trade. So obviously this video is going to be a live trading and it's going to be quite long, so I'm going to cut out a lot of parts so it can be as short as possible, but make sure you're paying attention to every single thing that I'm saying so that you don't miss out on really good price action tips. So as you can see, we're already in two of our positions on Nasdaq. Right after the spike, we have managed to catch it and it's actually really moving. Played around at this zone and then now wanted to break out of that level, push up to the top. We can add position when it does, right? Right now, let's just go onto a lower time frame to see what is actually happening. Look at the spike. Look at the way it just spiked up as a rejection on 5-minute time frame. This is good price action. This is good rejection. These are good rejection candles, as you can see, but the 30-minute time frame hasn't really closed off as a rejection. But if it does close off with that good week and breaks out of this zone, I am going to add positions. I'm not even joking with Nasdaq, right? So I wanted to break out of this level, retest a little bit like this into this zone and then push up to the top. We will be good. After a few minutes, you can see the spike. Look at that, how it just rejected with a week. Look at this week, right? This is good confirmation that the buyers have really stepped into this market, right? Look at how it just wicked back up to the top. It hasn't really broken out of this level, but it has just wicked up. On the 30-minute time frame, it hasn't closed off. So the 15-minute time frame is what has broken off, but I'm just going to risk it and enter, one position. Let me just enter one position. No, two positions. Let's just enter two positions on Nasdaq. One over here and just risk it. I'm risking only $1,000 for this particular trade, right? So if it breaks out, it's really going to be a good confirmation. Let me add one more trade, but it hasn't broken out. I'm just using the 15-minute week rejection, which is not as bad, right? So right over here, you can see we're up $100 with two positions that I just added to profits. Let's wait and see what happens.
The truth is steady, 'cause you ain't never talking loud and you know plenty. You know what I'm talking about, 'cause you just get me. Yeah, you so pretty. If everything is tempting.
roughly 2 hours later, Nasdaq was just in a drawdown, and it has eventually hit my stop loss right over here. But the only good thing about this is it did not close. It didn't break and close outside of my stop loss level. So as you can see right over here, I did not have any stop loss levels, and I was actively monitoring my trades right over here. Remember, I said we are only risking $1,000. It only went to minus 700, 600 and something, if I'm not mistaken. And you know, it just tapped on my stop loss. This was like a stop loss hunt, because I've seen this a lot of times with my strategy, which is why you should always backtest your strategy, which is why you shouldn't always change the way you trade. So because I've seen this type of setup a lot of times, I did not panic and actually close my trades. I will only close stop loss when it breaks and closes outside of my stop loss levels, just like how we're supposed to wait for a break and a close. And the mistake I made right over here is I entered this Nasdaq trade based on the 15-minute rejection week. The chart had not yet broken out of that higher time frame that I was talking about, which is a really common mistake with a lot of traders. You're too eager to make money. You don't want to have patience. Like here, I admit I didn't have patience to wait. I practiced a really bad thing, which I should not have done. And this is the result of breaking one of my rules, right? You see, I almost risked losing $1,000, but right now it has wicked back inside the zone that I was looking forward to. Let's just see how it actually then plays out. I'm still going to hold my trade, $1,000 that I'm just risking on this particular trade, right? So in the inner circle, we had given the signal, and I just gave them a re-entry because it also hit the stop loss. So those that had stop loss, it hit their stop loss. Right now, I've given them a re-entry for this particular trade with just a different stop loss right below the wick right over there. Let's see how it actually, then plays out. As you can see, it absolutely just kept shooting up to the top, which is what I should have waited for at first. And now it has broken out of the zone. What is only left is for it to close outside of it for me to have good confirmation of those positions that I added, right? So we are also in a US30 trade. Just check it out over here, and it has hit our take profit, right? It has hit our take profit, but I don't want him to take profit right now. I want us to add positions because I see potential. There is like good potential on this trade. So I just told them to add positions to this trade. I always guide them in any signal, right? Let's analyze it on the daily time frame over here. You can see that there is nothing holding this market at this. This is the only candle that's holding the market, right? So if the market pushes up to that zone right over here, this is the only level that is holding the market, right? So right now there is nothing stopping this market from pushing up to the top. So we can't just take profit and waste pips where there is potential, movement upwards. So I'm going to give them a new take profit. Let me just give them a new take profit, 4,300, and let's just take a screenshot of how it looks like so that no one is confused or left out. Yo, that stop loss really got me tight. I was like, uh-oh, I should not have done that, but it's good. It's good. We move. Let's go. So let me just send this. Yeah, this is the guidance. Let's just see how these trades play out. So we are $300 up on Nasdaq, as you can see right over here, and it's just a few hours later, and 2 hours in the trade. You can see it's almost 8 p.m. It's past 8 p.m., almost 9 p.m. right over there. And yeah, I've just been checking here and there these trades, and then right now we're just going to adjust nicely how it actually looks like, and probably leave these trades running overnight because if the market is not moving, you can't help it have momentum, right? You can only analyze, leave the trades to play out. US30 is still the same thing, right? We did add positions at 40,000 right over here, and you can see at the zone, you can see that it has broken, right? It has broken out of the zone, which is a good sign. It broke and closed. So now I'm really waiting for breaks and closes. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is the next day, and it's not really good to hold trades overnight, but here goes nothing. This is what Nasdaq is looking like. We are up $792, as you can see right over here. I hadn't even opened the chart, right? Let's just adjust this so that we can see how much we are progressing. You can see the trade is moving quite well right over here. We are really up in profit, and I'm super excited for this. Just check out US30, and yes sir, US30 has absolutely smashed our take profit, 4,300 that I had given yesterday. And it's just good to be patient. As you can see, this was the level right over here. You remember yesterday when we took this screenshot, I sent it in the group for guidance, and right now absolutely hit take profit 400 pips on US30. The analysis was simple: breakout, retested, and it just shot up to the top. Right now we just left with Nasdaq $878. Let's just close a few positions right over here. I'm going to close a few positions because, you know, yeah, we don't want to risk too much, right? Because soon the market is going to give us a new setup, and the only thing holding Nasdaq is this candlestick at this particular zone. That's the next level that Nasdaq has to go to. It can't just start moving. So the same thing that US30 did is what Nasdaq is doing right now, and that is why we're still going to hold the trade, because it looks like it has good, you know, formations, good momentum. It can push up to that level. So this zone is the only zone that might hold Nasdaq, right? It might hold it. It's not compulsory. So we're targeting right over there on the Nasdaq, and let's just see how this trade actually just plays out. I'm going to close one more position because I don't want to risk too much, right? Because it can just retrace over here and shift my stop loss into entry. Let me just put my stop loss into my profit. Yeah, $100 is decent. I have 250, so if it retraces back, then yeah, it can do that. The same thing I'm telling them in the group. Let's just adjust our stop loss right over here. Voila, yes sir, look at that. Nasdaq has absolutely just pushed up to the top. Hit our, you know, take profit 373 pips. I'm gonna close. You know, I don't want to like stay in the market for too long, and that is exactly how we managed to trade for this particular week. Absolutely beautiful, nothing too crazy. Let me just tell them to take full profits on the Nasdaq. As you can see, the simple analysis: waited for the market to get into our zones. CPI spiked, we went in after the spike. The market played with us for a little bit, hit our stop loss, went in for a re-entry, and we absolutely just were patient with the trade, held overnight, and this is absolutely how you just trade with price action. But let me see you for the Nasdaq weekly analysis. Really decent week we had last week, and I know I left off the video on Thursday, and I'm super happy to let y'all know that right over here on Friday we absolutely caught a 200 pip move, which I gave every single member of the free signal group. Obviously this signal was then sent in the inner circle, but the whole setup, the whole breakdown of the trade was given in the free signal group. As you can see, the trade was absolutely beautiful, and we had a really good week. I mean, it was really decent, minus that little, you know, stop loss hit, even though we did come back from it. But then the week overall was absolutely good. So right now, not to waste so much time, let's just dive right onto a Nasdaq weekly analysis, and let's just see what, you know, the market has for us for next week. We're gonna delete every single thing that we have because we want a clean chart. All right, so looking over here, we have Mr. Powell speaking on Friday. Yeah, this is probably the only time we're going to have crazy news, and this is also before the NYSE session opens, 30 minutes before. So the market is just going to be volatile on Friday, right? So we want to be careful. Oh, we have FOMC minutes. That is what we'll be done trading. Nothing too crazy. So yeah, the week is going to be decent. Monday, Tuesday, no news. So we're going to have a really good time, you know, on these charts. Right over here, let's just see what we're having on Nasdaq. Obviously, you know that we want to start from our daily time frame and see what the market actually, you know, did for us. So we did have our little trend line right over here at this zone, right? And remember, I did tell you that if we break, there is a chance that it will retest and also not retest. And in this case, it did not respect this retest. It stood with the overall trend, which it always does, which is why I'm always telling you that we always stick to the trend, right? So obviously this trend line absolutely becomes invalid now. We do not need it because it was disrespected, right? So the trend line that we need right over here would be this one right over here, like this. And then we obviously want to mark up our zones, right? So we have a trend line, and then we need the zones marked up. The first zone being the one that it's currently at. That's so important. You need to know what price is doing at that, you know, current moment, right? So the next zone is going to be this one right over here. And then I doubt, yeah, we won't need the zones at the bottom, right? Let's not be biased to buys like that. We need the zones also at the bottom, right? And then we obviously, no, let's just use this one as the zone at the bottom. So this is what it looks like on the daily time frame. We're going to go on to our 4-hour time frame to see what it's actually saying, right? So horizontal line, we won't need it because it's just making the charts look a little too dirty. It's actually very simple. I think you can already analyze it if you're always following my videos. This is one of our common setups that we always have, right? So we're gonna just take out a trend line at this zone and then, you know, pull it up like this. And yeah, nothing too complicated right over here. In my opinion, I think this would be a really risky buying trade because the market can be stopped at this level and you're not sure when it will get stopped. stopped, right? So in as much as we want to go in for buying positions, we will have to wait for the market to come back to these zones. Taking a buy at this zone because it broke out of this level, it will be risky because you don't know when the market can just reject. All of these bank zones can cause the market to just, start reversing. So the thing we want to do is, look at this zone right over here. And then if price comes down to this level, we want to look for buying positions. The zone, which would be this right over here, and off of this level, if the market comes to this level, we're saying we buy off of this level, we go up with the top with it. If it breaks out, well, stop loss will be here. If it breaks out of this level, want to try and look for another buying position, and then we go in with it to the top, and then just write it out. So I am really biased to buys on the Nasdaq for this current week. I don't see any potential selling opportunities. This is only my opinion, not trading advice. If it does do one of the two things that I've just spoken about, we're just absolutely going to ride this. And let's say you miss these trades right over here and you find the market right at this zone. We want it to break out of this level. If it does break out of this level, it's already threatening the highs, and you know what to do when the market gets to the highs, right, to the highest of highs. You want to just look for more buying positions because it will have another chance of just shooting right up to the top. But if you did enjoy that video, don't forget to hit the like button, turn your post notifications, and subscribe to the channel. You feel me? With that, it's been Tino, and I'll see you in the next lit video. Peace.